In front of a classroom meant for learning, Karen's final lesson was written not in chalk, but in blood. She spent her life teaching others how to see the light, but never saw the darkness hiding in her own shadow. On a calm Monday morning, April 10, 2017, the peaceful town of San Bernardino, California, awoke to a tragedy that would shake the nation to its core. Inside the cheerful walls of North Park Elementary School, where colorful drawings hung proudly and laughter filled the air, an ordinary day turned into a nightmare no one could have imagined. The victim was Karen Elaine Smith, a 53-year-old special education teacher known for her compassion, patience, and deep faith. For her students, she was more than a teacher. She was a guiding light, the kind of woman whose presence felt like sunshine after rain. But that morning, her light was brutally extinguished in the very classroom where she had devoted her life to nurturing children. As Karen stood before her class, her estranged husband, Cedric Anderson, walked through the school's doors under the guise of a friendly visit. No one suspected danger. After all, he was a familiar face, a man of God, and her husband. But within seconds, Cedric revealed the darkness that had followed him like a shadow. He pulled out a .357 revolver and fired without warning, striking Karen and two of her young students who stood close to her, 8-year-old Jonathan Martinez and a 9-year-old boy. Chaos erupted. Teachers rushed to protect their students. Screams pierced the silence, and within minutes, police officers stormed the scene. Responding in less than 4 minutes, authorities found a horrifying sight. Karen and Jonathan lifeless on the classroom floor, and Cedric Anderson dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The surviving child, though critically injured, miraculously pulled through. The investigation that followed revealed the chilling truth. Karen had separated from Cedric just weeks before, fearing his growing anger and threats. What seemed like a visit of reconciliation was in reality a calculated act of vengeance. That day, North Park Elementary, once a place of learning and laughter, became a symbol of heartbreak, a cruel reminder that even love, when twisted by obsession, can end in unthinkable violence. Karen Elaine Smith entered the world in 1964 in Harbor City, California, a place where the sun kissed the streets and dreams bloomed like spring flowers. Born to a loving mother who was a teacher, Karen grew up surrounded by the chalk dust of classrooms and the melody of children's laughter. Teaching ran through her veins like blood through arteries. From a young age, she was drawn to the magic of learning, determined to follow in her mother's footsteps. As the years passed, Karen blossomed into a woman of grace and purpose. She married a man named Roderick, and together they built a warm, loving home filled with laughter and the pitter-patter of little feet. 4 children later, Karen's life revolved around motherhood. She homeschooled her children, pouring her heart and soul into their education, as if she were molding diamonds with her bare hands. But Karen was not one to let her dreams fade into the background. Once her children grew older, she made a bold decision to return to school herself. The early 2000s saw her walking the halls of California State University at San Bernardino, driven by a burning passion to teach. She majored in liberal studies, focusing on special education, a path close to her heart. She believed children with autism and learning disabilities deserved more than understanding. They deserved a champion. In 2005, she graduated, a degree in one hand and her dreams in the other. Her next stop was the San Bernardino Unified School District, where her compassion became legendary. By 2010, she was shaping young minds at Cajon High School, inspiring students not only through lessons, but through love and patience. Karen was more than a teacher. She was a woman of faith. Sundays found her in church, hands lifted in worship, her heart anchored in God. But even faith could not stop the winds of change. After 21 years of marriage, her union with Roderick ended in 2009. It was a heartbreak that could have shattered many, yet Karen stood firm, strong, resilient, unbroken. Her children would later graduate from college, a living testimony to her unwavering strength. Then came 2013, the year fate introduced her to Cedric Anderson. Cedric, a charismatic pastor, spoke the language of God and charm. With his smooth words and radiant smile, he appeared to be everything Karen's heart could hope for: faithful, kind, and understanding. He had been a pastor for 17 years, moving from Atlanta to Las Vegas and across California, preaching love and redemption. To outsiders, he seemed heaven sent. Ironically, behind that holy demeanor hid a storm, waiting to unleash its fury. Karen and Cedric's friendship bloomed into romance, their connection deepened by shared faith. Their love appeared serene, like a calm sea on a summer morning. In 2015, Karen left the high school to teach special education at North Park Elementary, a job she adored. By then, she and Cedric were ready to turn their love story into a new beginning. Their wedding day, January 28, 2017, sparkled with joy. Karen, radiant in her white gown, glowed with hope. Family and friends cheered as the couple said "I do." Their honeymoon in Sedona, Arizona, seemed picture perfect. Smiling photos, heartfelt captions, and laughter echoing across the red rocks. But behind those smiles lay the shadow of irony, a honeymoon destined to fade into heartbreak. When Cedric moved into Karen's riverside home, the same one she had shared with her first husband, things began to unravel. The love that once sparkled soon darkened into something sinister. Cedric's constant declarations of affection turned into suffocating control. His love wasn't love at all. It was love bombing, a manipulative storm disguised as devotion. Karen's fairy tale quickly twisted into a nightmare. The man she had called her blessing became her burden. Cedric grew paranoid, accusing her of infidelity, twisting her words, watching her every move. The pastor who once preached peace now thundered with rage. By March 2017, barely 2 months into marriage, Karen had seen enough. Fearing for her life, she fled her home, seeking refuge with one of her children. She confided to her family that Cedric had threatened to throw her out of a window. The irony was chilling. The same man who vowed to protect her now promised to destroy her. Little did she know, Cedric had a dark past, a trail of violence masked by sermons and smiles. Between 1982 and 2013, he had been arrested 4 times. Former lovers had accused him of unspeakable abuse, threats, strangulation attempts, even holding a knife to one woman's throat. Yet, time and again, the law had set him free. Despite Karen's silence, the danger loomed. Cedric begged her to return, showering her with words dripping in false sincerity. Karen mistook his messages for cries of loneliness, never realizing they were preludes to vengeance. Then came the morning of April 10th, 2017. The sun rose over San Bernardino like any other Monday. At North Park Elementary, children filled the halls with laughter, and Karen walked into her classroom, calm, kind, and ready to teach. She had no idea death was walking toward her. At around 10:30 a.m., Cedric entered the school carrying a .357 revolver. He smiled at the front desk, claiming he had something to drop off for his wife. Nothing seemed unusual until he stepped into room 15. Without a word, he pulled out the gun and unleashed chaos. Bullets tore through the air like thunderbolts, striking Karen and 2 students standing behind her: 8-year-old Jonathan Martinez and a 9-year-old boy. Within moments, the classroom turned into a scene of horror. Children screamed, teachers ducked for cover. When police arrived 4 minutes later, it was too late. 10 shots had been fired. Karen lay lifeless, Cedric's body beside hers. Jonathan Martinez did not survive. The other child miraculously did. The community was shattered. How could a man of God commit such evil? Investigators uncovered Cedric's long history of abuse, but the ultimate question, why, remained unanswered. No suicide note, no explanation, just silence where once there had been sermons. Karen Elaine Smith was 53 years old when her life was cut short, a life that burned bright with compassion, faith, and purpose. The cruel irony? She dedicated her life to protecting children only to die in front of them, at the hands of the man she once believed was her blessing. May her soul and that of young Jonathan Martinez rest in eternal peace. Reminders that even the kindest hearts sometimes love the darkest souls.